And that goes into the culture for me, which is I always bang on about this, but and I'm gonna kind of hone it in on specifically the black community. Our culture promotes our self-destruction. We are the only people that dance and party to our own demise. Where do they celebrate their own death and destruction? Call themselves derogatory names, say we're gonna really destroy and kill. The black community is the only community that has this legacy where we're like, I'm gonna shoot you, nigger. I'm gonna.
Sad.
Reflects the culture has perpetuated the reality that we live in, and the young people buy into it. Like, right, you know what? That is the way forward. You know, I've seen young youths. I'll tell you a story. SubhanAllah. One you got stabbed about 13 times. Yeah, they tried to done his dance. They tried to kill him. Yeah, I remember he came in, and he had a brother. His brother came to me. He was like, right,
did you deal with this case? Or?
Yeah, I'm telling you about a case that I worked on.
You saw this guy after he got stabbed 13 times?
Yeah. He was
this is messed up. See, this job...
He was in a coma. He was rubbed out. Like, he was all twitching and, you know, I was looking at him like, I don't think this one's going to pull through.
Wait, but so you had to see someone and deal with someone who freshly
I couldn't, there was nothing to do with. I just had to watch him in a coma. He was pronounced dead twice. One at the scene, and Qadr Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't let him die, and they resuscitated him. They brought him back to the hospital. And his heart failed again.
But it wasn't just in a coma, he had stab wounds everywhere.
Yeah, he was stabbed up. He was finished. And his brother came, and his brother was like, "Oh, Abdul Kareem, if I play him his favourite song, do you think he'll come out the coma?" So I was like, "Nah, don't get down." So I was like, "No, don't do that. And then he says, "No, I've got to do it. He started playing some trap music, drill trap music. That's it.
After he been stabbed 13 times.
And his brother's in a coma. Like,
mashallah, he learnt the moral of the story, bro.
So I was just like, what is going on? Because of a number of factors. Number one, he had certain learning needs. He had some mental health issues. Number two, because his brain was starved of oxygen for a period of time. All that compounded and affected his memory, so he would remember something and forget it like 5 minutes later. So we need a lot of neurological, support afterwards. But this consider he's gone through all that trauma. Do you know how much gang banging music the youth was pouring into his brain as a form of recovery? All he was doing was trap, gang, I'm just every time I walk to see him, gang, trap, yeah, split. I'm like, wow, what's going on with you? I'm like, yo. So the culture, that's why I address the culture.
Is he out now?
He's out, but head the thing, he's listening to all of that, he's becoming more violent. So remember, he's fresh, fresh from a coma, he's becoming more violent. Within that context of culture, women aren't really honoured and respected. So what did he start doing? He started assaulting female staff members, touching their breasts, touching their bottom, and I believe that's all compounded by the culture and what he was, inputting into his brain.
Just being shown sex all day.
Sex and drugs and violence, and then he's got round and go bun weed. Every negative behaviour that was out there, he was into it. And this is why I say the culture, whether it's, we can't pick and choose what we want to do. If we want to eradicate or we want to reduce serious youth violence, we can't say, okay, but let's allow those artists just to do their thing, because it all contributes.
Yeah, that's what
But some people don't want to hear that. You see an artist do well, they're winning Bobo Awards, they're going on tour, they're out the hood. No problem.
I don't get why the person's getting a award for just talking about killing and shotting and stabbing and,
Because there's no standards no more.
But people are trying to say it's just music. That's the worst thing. And because you ain't always been practicing, I ain't always been practicing. Music is not just something you listen to, it's a way of life, man. It affects the way you walk, the way you talk.
I see it like this.
Everything.
Within the black community specifically, there's this concept of masculinity where I have to be what I say I'm about. So and I mentioned this before in another interview. Keanu Reeves, for example, he goes into the movie set, puts on a long jacket, 25 machine guns, dodging bullets. Alright, cool, we know it's fantasy. He goes back to Hollywood or wherever he is. He's a normal guy. We don't expect him to be a bad man. But within our community, it's like, we have to be about it. Yeah. Whether if it's fantasy, I'm not going to say it's cool, but I understand science fiction. Okay, you're a science fiction bad man, but it's not that. You have to be the bad man.
I think as well, beats and stuff, because obviously it's the lyrics, but I think also the beats, they make you feel a certain way. I remember when I was practicing and stuff like that, when I drive, listening to certain Tupac tunes and this, that, and the other, and stuff like that, you're ready. If someone cuts you, whether you're there in the wrong or you're in the wrong, it doesn't matter. There's certain beats, yeah? I remember certain tunes, Who Shot You, and all these kind of tunes, man. It's just like, you feel invincible, you're ready.
You know, music, the beats also has an influence on the way we are and the way how we operate. It really does have an influence over us. So, but going back to the culture, I think especially the black community, we have to ask ourselves some serious questions. What do we want? If we want to reduce violence in our community, in all types of violence, because serious youth violence, which we're talking about, is a symptom of community violence. So there's domestic violence, sexual violence, you know, there's political violence. Serious youth violence is just one aspect, one stem of community violence. Yeah. You know, and if we want to reduce violence in our community, then we have to start addressing some of the norms, the social norms that we've come to accept, i.e. drugs. Is that something we accept or we don't accept? Part of our community...
We do accept it.
Part of our community says it's fine to smoke weed.
Yeah.
You know, we should smoke weed. You know, part of our community, whether it's the Rastas or, you know, the Liberals, whoever that are, smoke is fine. I'll pick up my draw. But then, if you're endorsing that trade and that marketplace,
you have to drink cocaine and other stuff.
You can pick and choose which one.
Yeah.
Or, you know, which part of our culture, the music. Okay, music. Historically, if we want to dissect music, if we look at the origins of hip hop, it was an empowerment structure. It was about knowledge. It was about, you know, empowering the black person to know who they are and all these sorts of things. Now, let's counter that. So do we continue to accept that, or do we start saying, okay, you know what, there's something wrong here?
The problem is this: people say it's just music, but the reality is that we are living our lives based upon music videos. So guys believe, look, to be a man,
we're saying it's not just music. There are cases after cases where people are being convicted for convicted for violent offences, for murders, because of the music, because it's promoted in the lyrics. We know young people on social media are sending through. I'll tell you a perfect example, in fact, a practical example, so people know I'm not chatting rubbish. I worked with a young man who was stabbed 5 times. He survived. When I went to go see him in the wards, I said, "Right, how are you, brother? What's going on? How did this happen?" Broke it down. He said, "Right, it's a gang issue." I was like, "Okay." His dad come up to me. "Master, no, do you know youth worker? No police, no. I'm like, this is a serious issue. Young people are dying. No, I've been stabbed 5 times. I was like, oh, here we go. Wrong play. Anyway, I said, you know what? I'm about saving lives. Here's my card. I'll come see you tomorrow when your family's not. I had to be kind of firm because it's cool. Went to go see the youth. I always say this, the youth was a nice youth. Me and him got on like a house on fire. All the nurses and stuff couldn't stand him. All the gangs team, all they hated him, but me and him were proper cool. We could proper talk sense. Cut a long story short, remember this youth's been stabbed. He was like, Karim, my brethren was killed by certain youths. So I'm vexed. And they talk about it all the time. So for me, this is personal. Cut a long story short, as soon as I got him out of the area, saved his life, all of that, because he lived on the road where he had beef and all, moved him, all that sort of stuff. The youth was back on the block making tunes about who he's gonna get with his injuries. Like if you look carefully in the video, his injuries. So I got a phone call, Kareem, see that you helped save his life? I got a phone call from the borough saying, Kareem, this kid is causing riot, man. I'm like, oh, here we go. Anyway, it's no problem. Went to go see the youth, shows me his video. Are you mad? I challenged him on it, but his way of letting the people know that he means business after he's been stabbed was via music. Thousands of views. Thousands! Like, I'm not like 70, 80,000, thousands of views. And then I think they made a return track. And then I heard he got nicked for murder. And then he's come out. I got a message from one of my old colleagues. He was like, Karim, look, he's out. And when I watched the video to see what he was saying, he was talking about, yeah, we did it. I was like, this is more than music.
Now you're going to put yourself in, yeah.
Allah knows best. But the point I'm trying to get is, this is more than, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
For the young people, it's a lifestyle. And if the mobiles, the Brits, are going to give accolades and awards to people who are... The biggest track, I think, of 2016 was called Robbery. It's called robbery.
Is it?
It's called robbery. One of the biggest tracks was called Robbery.
And this is what I don't like, yeah. A lot of probation people, to get people out of gang and stuff, they push people towards music, yeah. But you don't solve the problem. For one reason, you protect someone who was a drug dealer or a violent person, yeah, and then you put him into, you give him probation and you send him studio, and then he starts talking about girls and a different kind of vice there. Girls sleep around, I like sleep with this girls, I go clubbing, I sleep with beggars, I have orgies, and then what happens is that now you've created another single father problem somewhere else, because people do act on music. Another thing is like people say, 50 Cent, he done so good, and I disagree with this. Why? 50 Cent was selling drugs in a little area, yeah? Or maybe even a big area in his town, and he was mashing people up. Okay, he went into music, and he created 50 Cents
All over the world.
who rob all over the world. And the sad thing is that the sad thing is that 50 Cent's kids, yeah, are never gonna see a block. They're gonna need a telescope to see a block from where 50 Cent lives, or they're either gonna go to the poshest school, yeah, or they're gonna have the best home shooters, yeah, the most professional. So the whole thing is that he's rapping about a life that he left maybe 10, 15 years ago. Other kids are walking like him, talking like him, and this, that, and he puts on a hoodie for music.
It's a commodity. Violence sells. He's going to make money off violence.
Yeah.
It sells. The thing is, for me, is where's the ethics? And we know a lot of these people, their ethics aren't there. There is no ethics. And there needs to be a voice of reason, a voice of challenge, and it's gone.
But I think because everyone's living YOLO, even the adults, yeah, look, everyone's just happy living it until it affects them. So what happens, guys are told, just get girls, get nice cars, it doesn't matter how you get it, get material things, live your life, sleep around, go clubbing every week, impregnate girls, there's nothing. Girls are told, look, you don't need to get no qualifications, you don't need to do nothing, yeah, you don't need to be a good mother. All you need to do is look sexy on Instagram, and say, turn man's head when you're walking down the street, get some rich, trapper or this, that and the other, and then you've made it. So the whole thing is, as long as it's working for people, they don't believe in a day of judgment, they don't believe in hellfire, paradise.